You are simply reminding yourself that you are a boss who has standards, and you will not settle for anything less than what aligns with those standards. Hi, I'm Tash and welcome back or welcome to The Loving Lifestyle, a channel dedicated to helping lost graduates feel at home within themselves and create a life they truly desire. Today, I wanted to share with you some of my favourite self-care activities that just don't get enough credit. Self-care is so expansive. The way that we choose to look after ourselves is unique to each of us based on our preferences. But really, all it means is looking after ourselves now and for the future. Self-care isn't always easy, but it is important. You are your greatest asset, so you've got to take care of yourself. The first underrated self-care practice is holding yourself to high standards. Now you may be thinking, wait a second, Tash, isn't self-care about being nice to ourselves and letting ourselves off for things? Afraid not. Self-care is about looking after ourselves, giving ourselves the best chance of happiness, and prioritizing our needs and what is important to us. It is about honouring our emotions while still remembering that we are badasses who can create the life that we want. Give yourself some rules about the kind of person that you want to be. You can literally do this by just getting a piece of paper and writing, I am someone who, at the top, and then just bullet pointing the kind of person that you want to be. Now, I'm not talking about external things like I want to be beautiful, because you already are beautiful. No, I'm talking about your personal standards. So for example, from my personal standards document, I bring you, I am someone who follows through on her goals, slows down to speed up, is a generous and open-hearted friend, stands up for what she believes in, looks after her body as it is her home, puts her mental peace before others' demands, steps back before stepping forward. That last one means seeing the bigger picture before coming to a conclusion. And if you've watched my video on becoming the chillest person in the room by delaying reaction, then you'll know that I value taking calm and decisive action over knee-jerk reactions. These are just a few examples from my own personal standards. I don't take shit from people and I never will, but I am also an empath, so I have to consider that too. Having these personal standards means that you can actively choose to make decisions that align with these standards, and therefore gently push you to become that next level version of yourself. That's the awesome thing about having these life rules. You're not beating yourself up or telling yourself that you have to improve in a certain area in order to be a good person. You are simply reminding yourself that you are a boss who has standards, and you will not settle for anything less than what aligns with those standards. Self-reflection also plays in here. Do you reflect on your decisions, actions, and beliefs regularly? Reflection is key to self-development because we can see exactly where we're thriving and where we are holding ourselves back from greatness. It's not criticizing ourselves, it's realizing we are 100% responsible for ourselves. So if we want to care for ourselves and set ourselves up for greatness, then we need to know what we've been doing right and what areas still need some nurturing. My second underrated self-care activity is to plan in things to look forward to. It's all very well making plans for when we can move around again, but there's still a lot of life to live in the meantime. It is important to find joy in the present. So plan in something to look forward to every single week, whether that's going on your favourite walk, getting a takeaway or cooking your favourite meal, having a FaceTime date with a friend, or giving yourself a duvet day. Actually book it into your calendar, so you can't just brush it off and allow other things to take its place. This is something that I do regularly because I used to be awful at taking days off. When you run your own business, there's always something you could or should be doing. But rest is super important, and finding joy outside of work is vital for living a well-rounded life. So now I take Sundays off and I schedule in something fun for the day, like going on a dog walk or having brunch with my partner or a chat with a friend or even some creativity time or baking. That way, even if I'm feeling a little tired on a Thursday or maybe some low mood has set in, I can take a look at my calendar and remind myself I have a really great day coming up. And it just helps me feel more positive and like every day just doesn't blur into the next. I think that that is something that's so important, especially but not only right now. A life where all the days and weeks just blur together isn't really living. Schedule in things that make each week special. And so you don't look back one day and just think, damn, I wasted so much of my life just watching Netflix in bed on a Sunday. Go explore your local neighborhood. Or get cracking on that passion project you always said you'd start. These are the things that you will remember, so plan in time to do them. How passionate am I about organization? I know it's a little annoying, but seriously, you guys, you can't have a clear and happy mind with a cluttered and messy space. They just don't go together. Research has even shown that people with messy rooms tend to have something deeper going on that they haven't addressed. On the other hand, people with tidy rooms tend to sleep better, stress less, have more mental clarity, and be able to focus better on their tasks. Humans naturally crave symmetry and stability. It helps us feel safe and it helps us feel better about ourselves. Being organized helps you look after your whole life and mind, not just your space. Get into the habit of, after you finish a task like working or cooking or going to the shops, put everything back in its home so that every task ends with a clear space. Keeping everything organized as you go is much less overwhelming than having a once a week deep clean and tidy. I know that being tidy doesn't sound like self-care, but it really is. You deserve a clean, beautifully organized place to live. And how you treat your home says a lot about how you feel about yourself. By keeping your space tidy, you're showing yourself and the world that you value yourself enough to look after the place you live. My final underrated self-care practice is a little less well known. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what self-therapy actually is and how it relates to self-care. Well, most of us rarely schedule in time in our calendars to work through our issues and our mental blocks, to uncover why we freaked out at our friend last week, why we keep dating jerks, and what we really wish we were doing with our lives. The thing is, the answers to all of those questions are inside you. You just have to actually do the work to uncover them. Some incredible people journal on these kinds of questions daily, but I know that a lot of you, like me, don't have the time or inclination to dive deep into your subconscious on a daily basis. So instead, we can schedule an hour or two into our calendars every week for purposeful reflection and self-development. This can be through journaling, meditating, reading, tapping, affirmation practice, NLP, mindset shifting, uncovering mental blocks, purposeful thinking, distraction-free time outside, anything that helps you uncover parts of yourself and work through issues. We all have issues, okay? We all have trauma and unaddressed events and things we've never said aloud and things we wish we hadn't. Therapy of any kind is nothing to be ashamed of or to avoid. And it's not just for people with quote-unquote big issues. Scheduling in self-therapy time means we can work through some issues on our own, because ultimately you have all the answers inside yourself. You know what you really need, what you need to get rid of, and what your best life looks like to you. It's just hidden pretty deep inside you. So scheduling in some time to work through those things is ultimate self-care. What better way to look after yourself than to let your true self out to play? I do just want to say here that self-therapy is not a substitute for professional help. And if you feel you need to or want to reach out to a mental health professional, then that is something I highly recommend that you do. Professional therapy is for absolutely everyone, and it's not something to put off or feel shame around. Anyone and everyone can benefit from therapy, and pushing things down and ignoring how you're feeling isn't healthy and it isn't strong. Asking for help or for someone to listen to you is strong. So to summarize, 4 of my favorite but underrated self-care practices. Firstly, have a set of personal standards to encourage you to show up every day as your best self. Secondly, plan things to look forward to be more present and avoid the weeks blurring into each other. Thirdly, organize your space for mental clarity and self-respect. And finally, give yourself a self-therapy session once a week to uncover different parts of yourself and what you need. Or go to professional therapy for a safe space to work through past trauma and uncover any blocks that are holding you back in life. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you found it inspiring and you've got some ideas on some new ways that you can practice self-care. If you enjoyed this video, then you will most likely enjoy my video on 5 practical ways to incorporate more self-care into your life, which I will link up here and in the description box down below. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you next week or over on my Instagram at the.lovinglifestyle.